What's up, guys? We are back. It has been a couple weeks without a weekly breakdown. It's been a crazy couple weeks over here at Empower. It was not for lack of updates on HighLevel side. I know that sometimes happens. Definitely not the case in this case. We had like 72 different updates to go through, but lucky for you, we have pared that down to 14 that we are going to talk about today. So it's going to be a heavy one. But again, if you look at my ClickUp board here, we've got 30 that we dismissed entirely, 18 that like might be relevant, but for most 99% of producers, it's not going to be relevant. Or sometimes what we'll do is we'll put ones in here that are relevant to us as an agency owner that aren't going to be relevant to you. And then we only have 14 that were worth covering in the breakdown. So really excited to share them with you. Let's go ahead and jump right in. This first one is really exciting. This is a Mailchimp editor import option for email templates. So if you're using Mailchimp or you have used Mailchimp in the past, you now have the ability to import templates directly from Mailchimp into HighLevel. Now, Mailchimp is the only one that they announced as part of this like release, as part of this update. But when I was going through this, I also saw a couple other options as well when we're doing this. So in order to access it, it's not super straightforward, to be honest with you. If you go to campaigns, if you're in email marketing, so go to marketing, go to your emails tab. If you go to campaigns, you're not going to find the option to import this. But if you go to templates, this is where if you click new, you'll see this little option here, import email. If I click on import email, it's going to default to importing from Mailchimp. It gives me some instructions, pasting that URL in there. And then again, I don't use Mailchimp, so I don't know how well this works. I would love to hear any of you guys that are using Mailchimp. I would love to hear how this works for you guys. In the past, these import tools have worked really well. So really excited to see how that goes. I also saw ActiveCampaign and Kajabi in here as well. Others, copy the email ID you provided. Oh, okay. This one I did know about. You can basically send an email to the import tool and it's supposed to be able to provide that, translate it basically into the design editor. So this is really cool. Being able to, with Mailchimp, go in here, put your campaign URL in here. And then when it opens it, when it brings it in, it's going to open in the design editor. This is really, really cool. That's I guess that's the major difference here, right? This is new. Before you could import, like when you do any of these other options, it gives you the option to import it, but it's going to import it into the code editor, which is not super handy for you. So in Mailchimp, you have the option to import it directly into the design editor. What's the difference between those? Well, if you import it into the code editor, it's going to bring it in and it's going to look like it did in the previous template and the previous builder you used, but you're not going to have the option to use the builder to like customize it and do different things. You would have to go into the code and edit the code in order to do any customizations. So not super handy, but if you're using Mailchimp, you now have the ability to import directly into the design editor, which is going to give you a ton of flexibility to be able to customize that template in any way you want to. So if you're using Mailchimp and not HighLevel, you now have one more reason to stop doing that. Import those templates directly into your HighLevel account and start designing right away. All right, next up is a pretty cool update. Definitely going to be cooler as it gets continued to be like worked on and rolled out. Basically, you now have the ability to take backgrounds of sections, columns, and rows, and you have the ability to apply color gradients to those or to blur the images if you're using an image as a background. So sounds really cool. Now, what I'm really excited about is when they roll this out to be like buttons, being able to create a gradient with buttons is super handy. But as far as like the backgrounds, one of the things I noticed right away, for example, I took an image that was in here in a template and I applied it as a background, and you can see a little hand hanging out here. That's because I was playing with some different settings in here. Repeat. So if I let's go full center right there, or I can go fill 100% width. Let's do that. That's how it looks the best. Okay, so I have the background blur turned on. Now, I don't know if it's like the image size or what it is, but like the settings are insanely like sensitive. So if I go to 1 or 3, right, it just doesn't seem like it should be like all the way to 100. You can't even see it. It's crazy. You go down to 40, 43, might as well be the same thing. 14, okay, like that I could see being more like a 50 or a 60, right? So, some kinks to work out for sure. I'm not sure. I don't know if this is a lab setting. I don't think it is, but it definitely should have been. Definitely not ready for prime time with this. The color gradient one, I don't have any colored backgrounds in here, so it's tough to show you, but I can make one really quick. If we change this from an image background and we instead say, all right, let's go ahead and do a color. Let's take this image out. Let's go in here, change our background color. Let's use this. And then I can come in here And now I can apply a gradient as well. So, I mean, that's pretty cool, right? So start color, end color. This allows you to choose like the intensity of the gradient. So some cool stuff there for those of you guys that like playing with design stuff, or those of you guys that want more options for your contractor to design on your guys' website. Definitely check that out. Again, my opinion, not like insanely exciting yet. It will be, but for right now, we're just excited that within the UI, like what this means is that now they have a UI component for gradients. Okay, what does that mean? That means they can use this same component for other features inside of HighLevel, like buttons. Like being able to do a gradient to a button is something we've tried many times and haven't been able to do. So that's something that we're excited. But if you are interested, go ahead and check that out. The background blur and gradients is brand new in HighLevel this week. All right, speaking of the page builder, drag and drop is now massively improved. And what do I mean by that? Well, before, I don't know if you remember, if you've done this, this is super frustrating. You have always needed to drag by this little corner element right here that says drag in order to move elements around, or move rows around, columns, columns within the rows, etc. Whereas now you can click on anywhere. And look how responsive that is. That is super, super quick and clean. We're really excited about this. You can even grab a column and rearrange your columns back and forth like that. That was not possible before. You had to do this little number right here and move it around like this. So yes, definitely excited about this. This is a huge, huge improvement that's going to save a lot of time. If you're not using the site builder right now, the page builder, then obviously this isn't going to impact you. If you minimally use it, probably not going to make a huge difference. But we use the page builder a lot, and some of our clients do as well. And so we're really excited about this new drag and drop improvement inside the HighLevel page builder. All right, next up, I want to remind you guys that you can purchase domains inside of your HighLevel accounts now. This is something that has to be turned on in the agency settings. So if you're on your own agency, then you might need to turn that on. If you're not and you don't see the option, then obviously that's an issue with the agency that you're hosting your HighLevel account with. But we allow this, and it is available on a broad scale. If we just go into here and go into settings. So you can access this in two ways. You can go to sites and you can go to settings, or you can go into settings and go directly to domains and URL redirects. The new piece, right? This isn't just a reminder. The new piece is that you now have the ability to transfer in your domains. And so they give you this nice big call to action here that says, hey, bring your domains here. For those of you guys that are fed up with GoDaddy's crap, which a lot of our clients are, this is a great way to kind of consolidate all of your domains and just consolidate like your marketing even more. Just one more reason why HighLevel can be your all-in-one marketing platform for your mortgage business. So really cool, really exciting stuff here. You see I've got a little option here to transfer in one of the domains I already have linked up in here, as well as coming in here and just transferring from scratch right here, even one that I haven't used yet. So definitely, if you haven't played with this at all yet, I mean, we have clients that have domains inside of their HighLevel account. We haven't had any clients transfer in their domain yet, but basically, we have seen no reason not to. The DNS management's super simple, super straightforward. And again, it really, really simplifies the experience of like linking domains to funnels and linking domains to your dedicated sending email domains. So definitely check this out. And speaking of dedicated sending domains, dedicated email sending domains, you now have the ability to select a dedicated domain, a custom dedicated domain for your calendars. Okay. Now, some of you guys a lot of you guys probably didn't even know that you could specify your sending domain at any level. So this is why I wanted to go into this one. The calendar one's not that big of a deal. But for example, one of our clients has the need to separate their dedicated default domain. We haven't done it yet, so bear with me, but I'm just demonstrating this. But they have a need where they're sending, tens of thousands of emails a week. A lot of those emails are going to traffic that's not like their client base, not necessarily cold traffic, but not necessarily the warmest traffic either. And they're concerned that if they send all of their emails from that same domain, that it's going to compromise the deliverability of their transactional emails, of their emails that are going out to their clients, that are going out to their prospects that are like close to buying, etc. And so how can you adjust that? Well, you can come into here and you can completely custom configure your bulk email domain, your campaign domain, your workflow domain. You can even come in here and split it up. So if you want to send half of your traffic through one domain, or half of your emails through one domain and half of your emails through another domain from within your workflows or within your campaigns, you have a lot of flexibility in here. even better is that it's so easy to customize that you literally could come in here and just do a one-off email from a specific sending domain, which is another huge advantage. So why would you want to do this? Because email deliverability is a real issue, and being able to maintain a solid reputation so that you can stay inside your clients' inboxes when it matters most, right? Like if those of you guys don't have if some of you guys don't have great sending practices for your marketing emails, well, you don't necessarily want that to affect when you're sending out emails to notify your borrowers that they're cleared to close, or that you need disclosure signed or anything like that. And so being able to come in here and specify your workflow domain and to protect the hell out of that workflow domain gives you the flexibility to be a little bit more creative in your marketing, a little bit more aggressive in your marketing campaigns, etc., because you're not going to jeopardize the sending of that particular use case, right? So that you're not going to jeopardize the sending of your transactional emails. So really, really cool stuff here. Again, the update is just that you can do this now with the calendar domain, with the calendar. All of these other ones have been here for a minute, but I figured a lot of you guys didn't know that. So just wanted to take this opportunity to recap that feature for you. All right, next up is an improvement to blog tracking. Now, I'm getting kind of deja vu right now. I may be legit deja vu, and I didn't talk about this, but I feel like I've brought this up before, so maybe I missed like what the actual update is here. Maybe it's just an improvement in these. But basically, inside of your website section, you have an analytics section that allows you to kind of toggle between your funnels, your websites, your QR codes, webinars, forums, surveys, and analyze down to the individual, or not to the individual level, but down to like the group level, how many visits, how many opt-ins, how many scans, et cetera, forms, surveys, how many completions, responses, all of that good stuff. And so they've added blogs to this, which is really cool, because if you guys have a blog, it's probably in WordPress, and it can be a real pain in the butt, not only to like keep up with and make sure that it stays up to date and to post stuff to, but most likely, even if you are doing that consistently, you're not logging in and checking out the analytics very often, or maybe you're using Google Analytics, which is insanely confusing to set up and insanely confusing to follow along, depending on how you're set up. And so to be able to bring that into HighLevel, where it's a lot more user-friendly, a lot cleaner, definitely a huge advantage of having your blogs and your websites inside of HighLevel. So check it out here, being able to break down if you're categorizing your posts, like, how are you spreading across your blogs across your different categories, showing your top performing blog posts in here, and then again, showing your overall activity. Obviously, we don't get a ton of activity on our blog. This is fairly new for us, but wanted to be able to demonstrate it for you nonetheless. All right, we just did a whole bunch of going through like the page builder and all, sites and funnels and analytics, blogs, all of that stuff, domains, all inside of HighLevel. Let's say you want to continue to maintain your WordPress website. Well, HighLevel has really high-end WordPress hosting, super fast page load speeds, just a really strong content delivery system that makes it really enticing to switch your hosting over into HighLevel. Again, just one more thing that you can bring into HighLevel, and this makes it so that you can manage your WordPress website inside of HighLevel. Really cool experience. We haven't done it yet. We've seen, we've kind of been monitoring this for a while. We don't have a WordPress site. If we did, it would have been in here a long time ago. But I just wanted to take this opportunity to remind you guys that this is here and let you know that they have a new onboarding wizard that is supposed to make it way easier to complete this. So if you guys have been on the fence about this and worried that it wasn't going to be super straightforward, check out this update. This should definitely make it a lot easier for you guys. All right, guys, next up is a really cool update to the Google Business Profile Management capabilities inside of HighLevel. If you didn't know, you have the ability under reputation, once you link your Google Business Profile, you have the ability to manage that entire profile in a really clean interface that tells you what you're doing right, what you're doing wrong, what you could be doing better, etc. So you'll see like our score, we're not completely optimized. We're at 11 out of 16 right now, but you have the ability to come in here and kind of cycle through your different settings in here. Now the update is that Google Business Profile now supports the ability to add a phone number for texting and for WhatsApp. So what this does is it gives them a call to action on your Google Business Profile to be able to text you right away. So any of you individual LOs that have a Google Business Profile you guys 100% should be doing this right away. This is a huge update. No reason not to have this set up with your virtual phone number. Allow people that are are visiting your business profile, if they want to text you, have them let them text you. Why not? Just one more way that they can reach out to you. You're just reducing that friction with connecting with, as it relates to connecting with you, which is a huge deal, kind of the name of the game in marketing. So definitely go in, check this out. It's really easy to just come in and select one of your phone numbers and then save it. And now they have a call to action here to text you. And when they text you, it'll go straight into your HighLevel account. So definitely check this out. If you don't already have your business profile linked in here, you want to, it'll allow you to come in here. All of these things are manageable in here so that you don't have to go to business.google.com and manage it there, which means more than likely you're going to keep it way more up to date. Plus, and make sure that the content that you're posting on your Facebook and your Instagram and TikTok, etc., any of the relevant content that you want to post to your Google business profile, that you're doing that as well. File in 2025, especially as a HighLevel user. So go in, check this out, and let us know if you have any questions. All right, next up, this update is huge for those of you guys that are managing a company on your HighLevel instance. Those of you guys that have your own agency. If you don't have your own agency, this doesn't apply to you, but this was so big, I wanted to make sure I shared it with anybody who does have an agency, specifically those of you guys that are running your mortgage brokerage on a HighLevel instance. Brand board snapshots are finally live. Brand boards are not just the design kit, but they're also the brand voice. And so I'm just going to skip over to here so I can show you this. You guys can come in here and take a look at just being able to add your logos, being able to, have different colors, your different fonts, etc. That's in there. That's your design kit. And then you have your brand voice as well, which your brand voice allows you to, kind of specify your target audience, customer pain points, brand values, etc. The AI within your HighLevel, whether it's like content generation or it's your chat bots or your voice AI, all of those things use your brand voice. And so this is really, really cool that we now at an agency level can build this out one time. So let's say, one of our clients, let's say we go back here and it's, Fulcrum Home Loans. Well, Fulcrum Home Loans now can have their brand kit and have their design kit and have their brand voice set up in one singular account, and then just push that out to everybody's account so that they know that every communication that their LOs are doing remain on brand. I know some of you guys have DBA setups as well within your organization. Snapshots snapshots are not something that are required to be pushed out to everybody's account. It's not like an agency wide setting. So you can have subsets. Like if you have a DBA that has 5 branches or 5 LOs, and all 5 of those LOs have their own sub accounts, you can push a snapshot to all 5 of those and still have your company-wide brand kit and voice for anybody who doesn't have a DBA. So really, really cool feature. We're excited about this. This is something that was, kind of a bummer when we realized that the brand boards had the design kit out there, but we weren't able to push it via snapshot. So we're really excited about this, and you guys that have your own agency should be too. All right, we've got a couple updates to pipelines and opportunities. The first one is within the mobile app. And so I have this one pulled up. I'm going to show you on my phone as well, but I have it pulled up because there were so many different things that I wanted to make sure we touched on them all. So let's go ahead and pull up my handy dandy screen mirroring there. Okay. So new experience. Now inside of desktop, we've been able to do this for a while, but we haven't been able to do it inside of mobile, which is that you now can go into settings and you can choose any of the fields that you can on desktop and add them to your opportunity view. And it'll stay that way as you jump in and out of your app. So if you want to see the number of days, let me see, this is probably works better when you're not using your computer. But if I come in here, let's say I want to say the days since the last stage change date. Boom. All right, that's pretty cool, right? So I can save this. And now I can go back. And now all of my opportunities in my pipeline show the number of days since the last stage change. Okay. So again, this is stuff that has been available on desktop, but it hasn't been available on mobile, which has left a lot to be desired on the mobile experience. So that's one of the big updates here. The other thing is you can customize your pipelines as well. So if we go, I'm not sure if it's in settings here. What is it going to be? If we go to opportunities, nope. Let's go in here. Opportunities. All right, not 100, all new. Go to opportunities and pipelines to view your updated stages, interact. Okay, no, I misunderstood that. The other piece here, and this is the piece that I wanted to make sure I showed you guys as well, is that if you have a new experience, being able to see all of your opportunity custom fields and everything like that in one view, whereas before you weren't able to do that. Really easy, hide empty fields at the top there, and then you're able to just kind of scroll through anything that you have in there. So now I would almost say like it's easier to interact with your opportunities on mobile than it is on desktop these days. And then the call to actions at the top to be able to just text or call the contact related to that opportunity or the primary contact for the opportunity. Sick. This is really cool. Really excited about this. I honestly didn't even check it out until I was prepping this breakdown, and I'm excited to go and do some messing around in my mobile app. So check that out. Another update related to opportunities is the desktop UI for pipelines has been updated. Reminder, UI, user interface. I apologize for using tech jargon, but basically you now have a much cleaner experience and smoother, faster experience when interacting with pipelines. Definitely a lot. I would say it's like more for the power user than anything. Like I've referred to some UI components as like bubble gum, where it's, it looks cool, but it's not super practical. It's not very quick to navigate. This is definitely a lot quicker to navigate than the previous one. So definitely go in and check that out. I don't believe that's a labs feature, so you guys might have already seen that, but yeah, welcome update for sure. All right, next up is a really cool update as well. Not sure why they did it. Maybe it was just too much of a pain to track usage inside of workflows. I don't know, but now AI credits are no longer required or used within workflows. So as long as you're in a workflow, you can build workflows using AI. You can use the AI chatbot that inside the workflow, custom code AI, email AI, SMS AI. And so again, this AI chatbot, this is not the same thing as conversation AI. This is like, it uses the same chatbots, but it's like a very specific limited use case of that bot, as opposed to just turning on the bot and letting the bot do its thing. So definitely check this out. You can create custom code, you can write emails, you can write text messages, and it doesn't use credits. So you do not have to be worried about rewriting text, testing code, anything like that. All of that stuff is now free inside of workflows. They have fair usage protection. So let's see, above AI features are not a part of AI employee anymore and are instead free to use. You'll have a daily limit and it'll reset in 24 hours. And then I imagine that daily limit will go up over time as they see like what fair usage actually looks like. So cool update here. Last couple updates are not nearly as fun, and so I saved them for last so that if you dropped off, you didn't see these. But this one's pretty important. Maybe I should have put this towards the front, but this Texas TCPA, Texas Mini TCPA is what they're calling this. So really quick, first thing is like if you're sending text messages in it like consistently inside of Texas, then check with your attorneys, whether it's your company, like your corporate attorneys, or your own attorney if you're a broker shop, or strategic compliance partner if you're if you're a broker, whatever it is. Check with your attorneys, because I am not an attorney. However, I am, I'm kind of like Fraser refers to loan officers and their desire to like find holes in the fences and find loopholes and stuff as like raptor behavior. And I definitely have that raptor behavior inside of me, where if I see something like this, I'm instantly looking for like, does this affect my clients though? And kind of looking for those. So the exemptions here, there are exemptions to the Texas Mini TCPA law. Texas Mini TCPA law requires you to post a $10,000 security bond and register directly with the state, posting a $200 registration fee every year that you want to send text messages inside of Texas. Okay. So this is huge. This is not a small deal. People are getting sued in Texas right now for not having this stuff. Serial litigators are going crazy with this. So it's not something to mess around with, but there are exemptions. And one of those exemptions, I don't have it pulled up in front of me. I posted it inside Brokers Are Better group. I also posted it on my Facebook page. So feel free to connect with me on Facebook to check that out. But basically one of those exemptions is for consumer lenders, right? And so it's basically regulated financial bodies that are like kind of exempt from this. And so one of those like directly listed exemptions is for a consumer lender, like consumer loan lender. Mortgages are considered that. Okay. Now, where this might affect you like more is if you're a broker, you're probably not going to fall into that category. However, there's another section that says if you are a other financial institution that is regulated by the state or the country, basically, or the US, then that you fall under that exemption as well. And so again, do your own research, talk to your attorneys, but I think we might have dodged a bullet with this. I think the mortgage industry really might have dodged a bullet with this, because this is a big deal. So if you have any questions on that directly, or if you have an interpretation, this is something that I want to know a lot more about. So definitely check in with me. I would love to hear what your thoughts are on this and whether or not you've confirmed or had anything that refutes what it is that I'm saying. Last update. This was a long one. Holy shit. We're at 26 minutes right now. Hopefully we can cut this down a little bit. But this is a long one. Last one is something, again, high level, just kind of, implementing some automated features that I'm not a huge fan of, but also I understand where they're coming from. Basically, it's a periodic opt-in text or periodic opt-out text that they'll add to your messages. So even if you're not sending a reply stop to unsubscribe on each message that you send out, HighLevel now has a setting that defaults to 30 days. Well, it'll do that for like every text, every 30 days that you're texting somebody, just to remind them that they can opt out and protect you and your like compliance and deliverability and whatnot. So not a huge fan of this. Again, I tend to lean on like, hey, I'm a big boy. I can do what I want when it comes to this, but I get it. HighLevel has liability in this as well. So check that out. Definitely check out the support article if you have any questions on this, but basically it's inside of your SMS compliance in your phone number settings is where you can edit that along with the opt-out text and your sender information. Okay. Guys, that's it. Hopefully I can cut this down a little bit, but if not, if you made it all the way to the end of this, congratulations and thank you so much for watching this week's weekly breakdown. Stay tuned for next week where I will be back. We will be back next week. Until then, see you at the top.